Welcome back. Financial Secretary John Tsang was on the defensive today as he tried to win support from members of the public and lawmakers for the budget he unveiled yesterday. But there were questions why the future fund he's championing is saving money for yet more infrastructure. The Financial Secretary again talked about the city's bleak future, that there may be a structural deficit in just 7 years' time at the earliest. But since he's always ended with a fat fiscal surplus after predicting a deficit in the past, lawmakers question why he wasn't investing more in making Hong Kong's social structure more sound.
How can you be sure that your projection will be right because you've got it wrong so far entirely? Education, welfare and healthcare spending on people, you regard that as a burden. And then you keep talking about building more. So I think you've totally missed the point.
The future means an aging society. And in an aging society, we need a sound retirement protection system. So why is it that the future fund is not to be used for retirement protection? Why is it that the future fund will be used to fund infrastructural projects? If there are essential infrastructural projects and there isn't enough money, you can issue bonds.
Let me clarify. Infrastructure does not necessarily mean just roads, bridges. Infrastructure also includes hospitals, homes for the elderly, and so on. So a lot of the infrastructure projects are really to help us prepare for an aging population.
In the middle of the session, People Power lawmakers Albert Chan and Raymond Chan were kicked out of the room after dramatic criticisms that the Financial Secretary had failed to give out cash to the people. During a phone-in radio show earlier this morning, some callers also called Tsang a miser for refusing to give cash handouts to members of the public. They pointed to the yearly Macau government payouts, but Tsang stressed Hong Kong and Macau have different situations. His relationship with Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying was also questioned. Tsang responded by comparing it to his decades-long marriage, saying it'll be considered good if he and his wife can even agree on half the things they talk about. He insisted it's better that there are different opinions in the government.
CLP Holdings has reported a 27% drop in full-year profit. The company also says it doesn't plan to lay off staff.
We have made some changes to our senior management team, and that has been a result of more of retirement. It's not correct to say that there have been staff reductions throughout the company, and we do not have plans for any major changes to our staff levels.
The power company, which serves Kowloon and the New Territories, said net profit fell to just over $6 billion. CLP also said it's under pressure to raise tariffs because of the impact of fuel prices. The new director of Marine, Michael Wong, started in his new job today, and he is already facing demands from the public. Jenny Lam reports.
A small group of protesters gathered outside Harbour Building in Central as the new head of the Marine Department, Michael Wong, arrived at work for the first day. The protesters criticised the department for being bureaucratic in doing its work. They demanded reform measures to address inadequacies identified in an independent Commission of Inquiry report on the 2012 Lama Ferry disaster. They also want officials to be held accountable for the tragedy. The Commission of Inquiry found that a Hong Kong electric vessel which sank in the boat collision was not soundly built, but it was issued a seaworthiness certificate after being inspected by Marine Department officials. 39 people died when the Hong Kong electric vessel collided with a Hong Kong and Kowloon ferry catamaran off Lamma Island on National Day 2 years ago. The new head of the Marine Department said a Transport and Housing Bureau investigation team will submit a report on the disaster next month. Michael Wong also said the Marine Department faces many challenges, and he is confident that officers in the department will properly discharge their duties. But he said the authorities cannot create too much hardship for people in the trade while improving marine safety. The government is now consulting stakeholders in the industry, and Wong promised that once the investigation is completed, his department will follow up on any issues raised in the report. Wong took over from Francis Liu, who has just retired after 27 years of service in the Marine Department. Jenny Lam, TVB News.
An emotional ceremony was held in Egypt yesterday, marking the one-year anniversary of the hot air balloon disaster in Luxor. 9 Hong Kong holidaymakers were among 19 people killed. Diplomats from China, Japan and a number of other countries attended the ceremony. Egyptian authorities have concluded the tragedy was probably caused by a fuel leak. Here in Hong Kong, families of the victims are still locked in a fight over damages. The balloon caught fire just before it was due to land in Luxor on February 26th last year. It plummeted to the ground. 19 of the 21 people on board were killed. All right, Chris, over to you for sports.
And over to Macau, where the UFC is present this week. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, returns to Macau this weekend. And our Jameson Wong talked with the man in charge of the world's leading mixed martial arts promotion.
First, the good news for Dana White. He's arguably the UFC's biggest star these days. A media darling and great interview because of his straight-talking style and the chance he'll drop an F-bomb.
He's the guy. I think he's the guy.
But he's not a fighter, and even with all that personality, he knows that won't fill venues around the world. And right now, for different reasons, it's not known when 2 fan favorites, George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva, will return to the octagon.
How are you, buddy? Good.
But the UFC president told me in an exclusive interview from Las Vegas, he's not concerned at all about the perceived lack right now of superstar talent.
Well, that's the sport. I mean, any sport. If you look at basketball, football, baseball, and, UFC, mixed martial arts, yes, there's always a rotation of new stars coming and going. I mean, I hear this thing all the time. Back, in the old days, I used to hear, what are you guys going to do when Chuck Liddell retires? You're going to be in big trouble. He's your big star. And then, now what are you going to do when George St. Pierre? Ronda Rousey just headlined our event here in Las Vegas on Saturday, and it was a huge success. It's professional sports, and there's always going to be stars rotating in and out of the sport.
Last time in Macau, well-known fighters Kung Lee and Rich Franklin headlined the card. This time, promoters went with another approach. Up-and-coming welterweights Dong Hyun Kim of South Korea and England's John Hathaway face off at Cotai Arena. The fight card also features the final of China's The Ultimate Fighter competition, the local hook.
Well, if you go into China, you probably have some hardcore fans there and a lot of people who need to be educated. I'm sure there's on the last card that we had, there were a lot of people that people didn't know there. But the bottom line is, when the UFC rolls into town, we always put on great fights with the best fighters in the world.
Tomorrow, more of our exclusive interview with Dana White and the UFC's plans for China. And who knows, we may get that F-bomb yet. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
In Champions League play, Real Madrid routed Schalke 6-1 to all but guarantee a trip to the quarterfinals. In Germany, Karim Benzema, Gareth Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo all scored twice. The second leg will be played at the Bernabeu. Meanwhile, Galatasaray and Chelsea played to a 1-1 draw in Turkey.
And finally for tonight, Paco de Lucia, one of the world's greatest flamenco guitarists, has died while on holiday in Mexico. He was 66. The Spanish virtuoso is best remembered for dazzling audiences with his lightning speed flamenco rhythms and fingerwork. He was also credited with merging flamenco and other musical styles. De Lucia shot to fame thanks to the best-selling album Entre Dos Aguas, or Between Two Waters, in the 1970s. He died of a heart attack while vacationing with his family in a Caribbean beach resort in Mexico. Spain's Education and Culture Minister called de Lucia's death unexpected and premature. King Juan Carlos has sent his condolences to the guitarist's family. And that's the news for tonight. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Good evening. The weather was mainly cloudy. And as tonight's situation chart shows, a humid easterly air stream is affecting the coast of Guangdong. Today's temperatures range from 18.8 to 21.1 degrees, and the relative humidity was between 84 to 93%, light to moderate easterly winds. The current temperature is now 19 degrees Celsius with the relative humidity standing at 89%. So Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow? It will be mainly cloudy, light rain patches tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 18 and 21 degrees. It will be humid over the weekend. Tomorrow's air quality health index is forecast at low to moderate. The maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 3. And here's the latest global weather update. Showers in Shanghai, cloudy in Taipei and Xiamen. Cloudy in Guangzhou and Chengdu. Cloudy in Beijing, showers in Tokyo. Bright in Bangkok, sunny in Ho Chi Minh City, showers in Manila. Cloudy in Kuala Lumpur, rain in Jakarta. Thunderstorms in New Delhi, sunny in Karachi, bright in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo. Showers in Brisbane and Sydney, sunny in Melbourne. Bright in Toronto. Cloudy in Vancouver, showers in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Rain in London, showers in Paris, rain in Amsterdam. And that's the weather. Have a lovely evening.